Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Shanti.
Yes. Hi, okay. Can I have your attention, please? Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Well, that does it, yeah. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for coming out on this snowy, cold afternoon. I'm Shanti Norris. I'm co-founder and director here at the Center for Healing in the Arts and founder of the gallery. And I'm just thrilled that you all have agreed to be part of Alchemical Vessels this year. This is our 5th year and one of my favorite projects of everything that we do here. So I'm just excited to tell you a little bit more about it and maybe give you some inspiration and a personal taste of some of what we do here. And then see what you come up with. So this afternoon we're going to do a number of things. We're a small enough group actually that I think I'm going to start and ask everybody to introduce yourselves. And I'll come back to that in just a moment. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the Alchemical Vessels project. And then I'm going to put on a slideshow to tell you a little bit about the work of Smith Center that the show helps support in the gallery. And then a little bit about alchemy and the vessel and the whole metaphor and notion of how this came about. Not because you need to learn about alchemy, but the imagery involved in alchemy is so incredible. And the colors and the symbolism, like it's sort of by way of inspiration as you begin to think about your bowl or continue to work on your vessel bowl. And then I'm going to turn the program over to my good friend and colleague, Lucia Mercer, who is a healer. And I'm going to let her tell you about all the many things she does, but she is a body worker. I hesitate to say massage therapist because she does so much more than that. But a massage therapist, a body worker, she's worked with us on our cancer retreats for 15 years or more, something like that, for a very long time. And she's a shamanic practitioner and keeps studying and knows and practices so many tools and techniques for personal healing that I've asked her to talk with you about that, about the whole process of transformative healing, and then to give you a little bit of a taste, sort of a journey perhaps together or something. And then we'll open it up to questions, and then we'll have Spencer talk a little bit about some of the important administrative and pieces of the Alchemical Vessel project. Is that okay? Does that make sense? All right. So maybe I'll ask, and we can even pass the mic around if we want. I'll ask you each to say your name. Maybe say what your medium is. And if you can say in 1 or 2 sentences why you accepted to be in this project, right? Either what you want to get out of it or why you accepted when the curator, when we invited you and told you you'd been nominated by one of the curators. But just in a sentence or 2. Is that all right? Okay. Adam, do you want to start?
Hi everybody, I'm Adam Hager. I'm a sculptor, and I said yes, I've been in a burnout stage since the last show I was in, and this was perfect to get started again. So, and it's a really cool thing.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Sally Kaufman, painter at Norris Sculpture. I had the pleasure of being on the show a couple of years ago, and I'm so excited about it. It's just a marvel to see all the vessels and I admire the work that the organization does.
I'm Nancy Saucer. I'm a sculptor working mostly in clay, and I've been honored a couple of years to be one of the curators, so I'm familiar with the show and also involved in some partnerships with the organization, with my organization, the Clay Project for the Arts. So I'm just delighted to be on the other side and get to be in the show as an artist.
Hi there. I'm Sarah Erbo. I'm a sculptor and an animator and a performance artist. And I guess thematically, the show appealed to me because a lot of my work
Hello everybody, my name is Lee and I do painting and drawing, and I was pleased to agree to part of this because I realized that it's such a great cause, and I had a fortune of being part of the show 2 years ago and I had a great experience, so I'm very, very honored to be here.
Hi, I'm Mary Friedman, and I mostly draw, and I teach drawing, and I love the idea of theme, and I have drawn my way through many tough times myself, so I'm honored to be part of this.
My name is Cassie Andrews-Swaller, and I'm a sculptor, but primarily I work in clay. And when I got the call from one of the curators and said she would nominate me, I was just overwhelmed and glad to be a part of it.
Hi, I'm Michelle Marks, and I'm Mark Clausen's mother, and I'm just helping her be a part of it. Who am I?
You're my manager too. I'm Mark Clausen, who likes Dolly's work, and I'm really thankless with ceramics.
What do you usually work with? What?
I usually work with mostly iPad and charcoals
Why did you say yes? Because
because
of dollars?
of Dolly.
Dollar.
Right.
Hi, my name is Eve. I am actually a massage therapist, or I will be in a couple months. I was invited here by Lisa Marie, and I don't think of myself as an artist, but I do fill sketchbooks with drawings for some here.
Hi, I'm Lisa Marie Belham. Nice to see everybody. I am a painter, drawings, and I was interested in was honored to be asked to be in the exhibition this year. And I am just really inspired by the mission of this place and think it's really awesome and radical, and so I'm happy to support it.
And Lisa Marie's in the show that opens on Friday.
My name is Anne Smith, and I think of myself mainly as someone who draws, but I also do printmaking and sculpture. And I've admired the Alchemical Vessels show for a few years, so I was really excited to have the invitation to participate for the first time.
Thank you. Yeah, one person.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Rosenstein, and I just ran here from the metro.
Good job.
Is that it? Why are you interested in English?
And what's your medium?
Boy, okay, so my medium is, I've been doing white on white for years, but right now I'm doing a lot of things, like mixed media. We'll say mixed media. And I'm happy to be part of this just because I think it's really important. It's important to participate and be supportive, and I really like being part of the whole group. So that's it.
What a good job being here. How you going? I say, I'm not sure most of us would have. Thank you, everybody. So I want to talk just for a few minutes about the Alchemical Vessels project. How many, again, just raise your hand, how many of you, this is your first year being part of Alchemical Vessels?
Nice.
That's great.
Shanti.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes, sorry, I have to use this thing. Okay, my voice tends to go down, so if my voice goes down because I do that, could somebody just wave at me? Thank you. So I want to talk a little bit about this to give you some background. This is our 5th year, so we started this 5 years ago. Many of you know that the gallery is I'm going to say more about Smith Center in a moment, but the gallery is all about exploring and participating in creativity in the arts. As we say, as tools for healing, but we mean that in a very broad sense. You know, we work with people with cancer here, so we certainly mean healing the body, healing the mind and spirit. We also mean sort of adding to our life and enhancing our life and living sort of vividly and engaged as whole people and as community, and dealing with social justice issues and all the issues that are very important in our life. And in the moment and the political climate seem to be more and more important, right? So the arts have always played a role there. We're going to tap a little bit into shamanism, but I'm sort of moved to say that from my perspective. You know, shamanism, are you going to say this? Are you going to talk about the origins of shamanism? You know, shamanism is one of the only two things that anthropologists tell us you find in every culture. One of the only two things that you find in every culture pretty much around the globe. In shamanism, which is, you find healing, you find the origins of medicine, you find the use of music, color, form, rhythm, poetry, dance, theater. You find in a way the origin of the arts, right? And then you're dealing with spirit or the subtle energy of the body. So in a way, you find the origins of religious traditions. So that's one of the many reasons that I asked Lucia to come here today. And so for me, the arts from the very beginning have been part of healing, in the deepest sense of the word healing. And I was just out at a hospital yesterday where they're putting in a whole arts and healing component and have asked us to lead that. In hospitals and in clinical centers in this country now, the arts are coming back in. Some of you are probably very aware of that. And as though it's a new thing, and it just feels like we were talking about the cyclical nature of things, that the arts in a way are coming back to healing and back to medicine. So Alchemical Vessels came about 5 years ago because we were thinking of both an exhibit, like how could we do an exhibit that would really engage the arts community? Because, as you'll see in the PowerPoint I'll do in a few moments, I think that the artists in our culture are shamans, in a way, are involved in the transformative parts of living, of finding meaning, right? And often of finding meaning out of challenging situations, helping us get through challenging situations. And so we were thinking, how do we help create community in the arts community among artists through a project? How do we engage this incredible art community of artists in the DC area in sort of the dialogue about the arts as healing? And at the same time, we were looking for sort of a fundraising event that could become our signature event here at Smith Center, engaging in the arts. And you don't need me to tell you that so many people, when they're doing a fundraising event, always ask artists to donate work, right? And that's the end of it. There's not even a show except for a day or two, and that's the end of it. So we decided that we wanted to do a meaningful show, create a challenge for the artists, right? To engage and really do something that you might not do on your own. And be doing it each in your own studio, but in a way in concert with each other. And around a theme that was sort of exploring your own sense of either what does your art add to your life or to your community's life? And so we created Alchemical Vessels, and you'll see in a moment the whole point of vessels and alchemy. I want to say from the outset, we think of Smith Center here as a vessel. We think of ourselves as a holding place, as a place of safety, where people can come. That's what a healing center is. It's a place where you create a container, let's say, where people who are going through challenging times, in our case, mostly people dealing with cancer and other illness, and their caregivers, can come to a place that's safe and process the pain or suffering or loss or challenges that you're going through. So you can laugh, you can cry, you can paint, you can write, you can dance, you can swear, you can learn stress reduction, you can do all kinds of things in an environment that's designed for that. And so we are a kind of vessel in which transformation happens. And the transformation motivation for me is sort of that we try to serve as a place to transform suffering into meaning. Does that make sense? Or into a way of holding and understanding. And in many cases, suffering, and we know this in our own life, becomes, when we make our way through suffering with a kind of consciousness, we come out of it with a greater understanding about life or about ourselves. Does that make sense? Or a kind of wisdom. So what we started with was inviting about 20 curators, and each of the curators nominate 5 people, and then we invite, as you know, the artists to participate. And from the very beginning, each show has been a show of 125 artists. And so this is the 5th year. In the first 3 years, I don't know how many of you have seen the catalogs that we've done, the Alchemical Vessels catalogs. We can pass these around if those of you that haven't seen it. We'll create a 5th catalog this year of the artist's work. And so the first 3 years we gave everybody a clay vessel, a round vessel, and did a different presentation and asked everybody to create something. And the shows have been magnificent. Last year, as many of you know, we gave everyone a box, a cigar box, and did a different form. This year, we're letting you create the form. So it's sort of a different process. It's a bit more challenging in a way, I would say. We're asking you to create the vessel form in whatever way sort of you're moved to. Does that make sense? So I think I'm going to go on. We have a grant this year, as almost every year, from the DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities. The show is almost always, maybe even all 4 years, has been reviewed by the Washington Post. And you will all get copies of the catalog and have an opportunity both to have your work shown and also have an artist statement in the catalog. So that's probably enough about that. Any questions about that for the moment? I think you're probably aware of much of that. So let me jump right in. I want to say a little bit in the PowerPoint about Smith Center and the work that we do, just so you know that when the vessels are sold, and I guess you'll talk a little bit about that,
Sure.
about the process of that the funds from your work will go to support the work that I'm about to speak briefly about. So you've had enough time to probably read this and know Smith Center, we're in our 21st year of offering supportive services for people with cancer. And I'm just going to be brief about this. We work in 3 areas: health and well-being, which is mostly cancer retreats, which we've done for 20 years. In this room, there's yoga supplies, we do creativity workshops, we have a professional teaching kitchen where we teach nutrition, we do talks, lectures, support groups, healing circles, all kinds of programs for adults with cancer. We do patient navigation, which is imagine somebody helping navigate you through a challenging situation. So it's actually a movement in cancer care. Some of you may know, in hospitals now offer patient navigation because it's so challenging to find out what the right treatment is, what the side effects are, how to finance things, not to mention all the integrative pieces, which is kind of our specialty on diet, nutrition, stress reduction, integrative therapies and things like that. So we offer personalized patient navigation. We have some national trainings, which are under education. We offer a national training. We train navigators in integrative care. We train nutritionists how to translate the latest science into delicious meals for people with cancer, so you actually know what to eat. And then we have a project we're working with breast cancer survivors from grades 7 and 8 and their clinicians and how to communicate a little bit better with each other. And then the art and creativity, of course, is the gallery. We bring professional artists into hospitals to work with people with cancer, and at Walter Reed with Wounded Warriors. And then the art advisory on helping people select art care, particularly for clinical settings. So our work is based on this simple idea, which is that everybody harbors the innate ability to heal. And we do that better when we have a little bit of help, rather than alone. And there's lots of tools and techniques that help engage the healing force of the immune function. So this is also at the basis of our work. In medicine, there's this distinction between curing and healing. People pretty much know what curing is. You get an illness, you have an intervention, whether it's surgery or medicine or something else, you get rid of it, you go on to live your life, right, without the illness. That's sort of a simple, direct, accepted definition of curing. Healing is something larger. Healing comes from within. It could be physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. And healing is always possible. Even when curing is not possible, healing is always possible. And a lot of the work that we do here is on kind of on this side of the thing. I personally tend to think of healing as a return to wholeness, right? You could be without an arm and still return to wholeness, right? In a very real way. You could be missing something and still have a sense of wholeness in your life, a sense of meaning and purpose. And I personally tend to think of healing as a lifelong process that we're all engaged in. So I think I'm going to move a little forward. So the gallery, I talked about the gallery and the mission of the gallery, so I think I'm just going to, this was probably our first Alchemical Vessel exhibition. So, gosh, I have to. So the vessel in alchemy is a container for transformation, which we talked about. And I just want you to see some of these images just by way of introduction. Okay. So the meaning, alchemy is actually an Arabic word. And one of the definitions is that it's a forerunner of chemistry. It is the forerunner of chemistry, actually, based on transforming crude matter into subtle matter, or into pure matter. And it's a magical process of transformation, creation, or combination. Does that not sound a little bit like what you do as artists? Right. Okay. It's also one of the definitions is experimentation, which is also what we do as artists. So I like this definition a little bit better. It's a philosophical tradition practiced throughout Europe, Egypt, and Asia. Many believe it started in Egypt, actually, as part of the sort of mystical sciences. So some of the main attributes are alchemists try to transmute base metals into noble metals or gold. They want to create an elixir of immortality, a panacea to cure all illnesses, and create a universal substance or solid. And that's sort of the physical. And part of this from the beginning is the perfection of the human body and soul was thought to create wisdom, gnosis, or wisdom, insight,